Hi, this is Cheryl from Farmhouse Frugally, back with you today with some wood items. I am going to start with a couple things I picked up on the good table at my dump. Yes, somebody dropped a beautiful wooden cake stand, and my glass dome happens to fit it perfectly. They also dropped some of these little candle toppers and two of these adorable wooden trays, and they have those Rae herb containers in them. My daughter's going to try to sell one set and I am going to use the other set. So I'm starting today with something very, very simple. I am taking that cake stand. I am putting my dome on top that fits absolutely perfect. And I'm adding one of those little toppers, little candle toppers for a handle. And I am just going to decorate with a few fall things for my kitchen. I made these little acorns last year in my fall videos. If you'd like to know how to make them, I absolutely love the way that they turned out. And before we go on, please make sure you like and share and absolutely subscribe. I am getting so close to my giveaway. Now, the other thing I found a couple weeks ago on the good table at the dump was a beautiful wooden caddy. Now, I just stuck some things in it to show you what it would look like. It's a beer caddy of some kind, if you just used it as is with raw wood. But today we are going to give it a makeover so that we can update it and get off the Wicked Ale symbol wording. I tried to get that off. I didn't do as good of a job as I probably could have, but I started to paint it and then said, yeah, I'm absolutely going to have to try to fill those some of those letters in because they are pretty pronounced. Now I started just dry brushing with a chippy brush with some white chalk paint to give this just a basic cover. I'm doing the inside, I'm doing the whole thing with that dry brush to start, and except for the handle, because I know I want to do something different with the handle, and also I know that I am going to have to do a little bit more with the Wicked Ale, whatever it says on the side of it. I also knew that I wanted to use the IOD Paint inlay, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you stick around. Now, before I continue, today's collaboration, What Would You Make for the month of August, is hosted, as always, by Brenda from Rustic and Lace and Christine from Devyne Dezynes, and today they have a guest host, Crafty Thoughts and Whatnot. So make sure you check out the description box for their channels as well as the playlist for everyone joining in this collaboration. And now back to the wood tote. So dry brushed the entire thing inside outside, the two tall sides, and then covered the two sides with the words with a heavy hand of the white chalk paint. And then I will go back and do a little bit of filler later on. Then I took out Midnight Blue ink and my new IOD stamp, Kindest Regards. Now, I know you can still get this at the Painted Heirloom if you're looking for it, at least last I checked. And I have sanded that for its first use, and I am I'm just going to ink the entire thing and just sort of see where I want to place it on the tall sides of this tote. And I absolutely love that already. So that's on both tall sides. And then this is where I pull out my wood filler and a putty knife and just go ahead and fill the words in, and then leave that to dry. And it still was really not as heavy as it should have been. I should have really filled that well. Last year, somebody had left an Annie Sloan can of paint at my dump, and it is Neapolitanic blue, and I am going to go ahead and give that handle a good coat of this blue. It is the perfect match for the blue ink that I used on the sides. and I used it in my video last week. So if you haven't seen that, you absolutely want to, especially if you like modern farmhouse. Now, once I have that completely covered, I'm going to go back later and distress and add ink to this color. It's a little blue for me, but once I have that done, I am going to move on to cover over the words yet again and find out that, yeah, you can still kind of read it. But I don't think that is going to be very noticeable given what I plan to do with the front and back side of this tote. So we will just continue to move on. If you were decoupaging here with a napkin or decoupage paper, I don't think you'd have to worry much about this at all. Even some transfers probably would cover it. But given that I was doing a paint inlay, I did want to make sure that I didn't have too much of those letters showing. I have a very large project that I will be doing with this Delft Paint Inlay by IOD coming up hopefully within the next month or so. But I did want to do a small piece first. So here are the gorgeous pages that are part of that book. There are quite a lot of these paint inlays, and I absolutely love this color. There's not much in my home that it goes with, but I do think that it is absolutely classic and absolutely beautiful, and I have really wanted to try a paint inlay for a while, so this is the one that I chose. So I cut out the pieces that I wanted to use, and when my second coat of white paint was dry, then I went ahead and gave this a third coat of this white chalk paint. Now, with the paint inlay, you want to use this while your paint is wet, and chalk paint does dry fairly quickly, so you do have to, get this done. So I recommend if you are doing this, get your pieces cut to the size that you want it and understand what your layout is going to be before you begin to put on your coat of paint. And then you are going to spritz the front, the painted side of your paint inlay. And mine was a little aggressive. And then you are going to lay that into the paint. And I would say a little less spritz so that you don't smear your paint. Mine did smear just a little bit. I did use a brayer as recommended here, but I have to be honest, I think next time around I will just use my fingers to press the paint into the inlay into the paint. Then once I have both of those done, spritz it a little bit more, and then blot the overspray with a paper towel, and then you want to leave that to dry good. I did try heating it up with my heat gun, as I've seen others do, and I have to say I probably would not do that again either. I think it is better to just leave it alone, walk away, and let it dry naturally. You'll see the change in color. You'll know that it's dry. And then once that's dry, you are going to spritz it again and maybe mop it up a little bit more with another paper towel. I'm going to buy a new spritzer because this one is a little bit just too crazy. And then wait a few seconds, maybe 10, 15 seconds. I don't know. I think they recommend a minute. Not sure. You're reactivating the paint into the paint here so that you can peel this away pretty easily. And then it comes out lovely. You can save those for another use, sometimes even a third use. And then I am going to distress this because I want this. It already looks rather old with the weathered gray anyway, and I like that distressed look, but also there's a fair amount of smudging on it, so I just kind of want to take my sanding block, sand a couple of places where I want it to look like that has worn away, and then going to do the edges, and I'm going to take a clear wax once this is fully totally dry and wax that off camera. And I'm also going to take a dark antiquing wax and go over the blue handle. I love the dark antiquing wax over this blue, and I think that makes a world of difference, and this came out absolutely gorgeous. Let me know what you think in the comments about this wood tote and whether or not you like this Delft. I love the script on the side in the blue with the blue handle. I love the IOD inlay. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Believe it or not, someone left that blue plate at the dump. Turns out that it was made in like 1840 and it's worth a lot of money, but I think it absolutely looks gorgeous in this tote, and I had so much fun just staging this to show you how beautiful it came out. Now, my next project is going to be a pair of these cute little stools that, yes, someone left at the good table at my dump. And I need them, believe it or not, for my bedroom to make some end tables because I just have a small space between the closet door and the bed. So I am cleaning these up and keeping them the color that they are because it is perfect already to go with my bedroom. And they have already the perfect height. There's a little shorter of a stool, not a real tall one. And what I'm going to do here is I purchased some wine on wine. I probably need some wine. No, I'm just kidding. I purchased this twine on Amazon, and I am going around and around and around and around and around. I am holding it tight, and somebody's probably already done this in the coastal world, but I never do anything coastal because it's just not my thing. But I thought I really needed a shelf, and because these wood pieces are not flat, I needed some way to add like an item that would be somewhat flexible and give me a shelf so that, if you need a box of tissues or, a mouth guard or whatever the heck you need on the side of your bed, then you'd have a little shelf to put that on. I was thinking it would be really nice to be able to cut a piece of wood for the bottom shelf. Definitely not going to have enough of this twine to do both the top and bottom on both stools. So I'm going to start with doing just the top shelf on each of the stools. And I was right, I definitely did not have enough. I had enough to finish both tops, and then I had a little bit left over, but definitely not enough to continue on. So I would have to either buy more or get some thicker twine for the bottom shelf or get something more creative. And so you'll see how I decided to do something different for each of these stools to give you a couple of ideas. And in the end, I may get a thicker twine. And then I tie that off and cut the two frayed and the beginning and the ending pieces off. And you could take a lighter and light the little hairs on that, but I'm not going to do that because I'll probably burn my house down. So here they both are, and they are a slightly different color, and I actually don't care. And I think one on one side of the bed and one on the other side of the bed, it's not going to be noticeable at all. But these came out really beautiful. They're nice and taut, and they are going to work just lovely for bedside tables for us. Now, I have displayed these the way that I wish that they could stay in my bedroom because they're just so beautiful. But of course, these will probably be just a little more practical. But on the bottom here, you can see that I took the twine and a basket and I tied the basket to the four corners of the bottom on one side. So that's an idea. And on the other one, I just took a white ironstone platter that I had and I just put that right on the bottom for another shelf. So I would love to know what you think about these sweet little stools and if this has given you any inspiration to do something with a stool in your home. Make sure that you have hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you in the next one. Take care.